Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to Lab 4, which is EEG Lab 1. And we're going to be back in MATLAB today working on some of the EEG analyses. So, from the first lab, you should all at least be somewhat familiar with MATLAB and trying to get it downloaded and installed. I know for my first lab, you didn't have as much success as the second lab, but hopefully, in the past 2 weeks after watching that post lab video, you've had a chance to get MATLAB installed and downloaded on your computer. The other thing I will say about these next few labs moving forward is that you will be working in groups. So ideally, you only have to get MATLAB working and the scripts working on one person's computer out of your entire group. So if for whatever reason you don't have access to MATLAB or it's not working on your machine that day, you can get with someone's group who is having it work and you only have to submit one submission per group. One thing I will say on that is just make sure that I've created the groups before any of the assignments have been uploaded. One of the reasons in the past that I realized was why the group submissions weren't working is because one person might have uploaded or did upload their assignment ahead of time before I was able to link the groups. So before anything's submitted, just check with me to make sure that I've created the groups necessary for the submissions. But what we're really going to be doing just for the final few minutes of this pre-lab video is just making sure that your paths are set up and showing you how to run the script and the various questions that you're going to be working through today in MATLAB. So briefly, we'll just stay in here. And one of the things you're going to be doing is making sure that you have that CD 2010 zip folder downloaded. And once it's downloaded, I want you to unzip that and move that to your desktop because that is primarily where we're going to be working at it today, just making sure that all our script paths are set. But I'll show you that momentarily. So the first few questions, you're actually going to be interacting with the various steps of the script. So you're going to be running the various questions that are actually nested in the script line by line. And you could see, based on the various pop-ups that come up from the script, each of the different stimulus files are color-coded and corresponded in some of the figures, which you're going to kind of see right here. Another thing you're going to be doing is just actually interpolating or imputing some of the noisy channels that were in the script. You're going to be filtering the EEG data as well. And again, in some of these questions here, it's just nested along the lines of what is filtering, what are you doing, and what are the different changes that you're seeing that are accompanying each steps of the script. And essentially, there's going to be 7 different steps that you're going to be working with today. And finally, the final questions are going to correspond to these grand average, topographic maps, and annotations. But other than that, the script is pretty much all set. So you're not actually needing to generate any code yourself. You're just going to be running the script on your own. But now what I'm going to do is just transfer over to MATLAB briefly just to show that everything is working. Okay. So once you have MATLAB open, you want to make sure that you're in that CD 2010 updated folder, okay? And you could do that by just going to your desktop, locating the CD 2010 folder, clicking on it, and then what you can then do is actually click on the CD 2010.m script. And for those of you who are opening this up for the first time, again, if you actually remember from lab 1, we need to go down to line 106 and just delete the NEW from this function right here. So it just looks like EEG pop underscore EEG fill. And again, what we're going to be doing is just running this line by line. So to do that, you could just put your cursor next to the different lines and hit Command Enter. And you can see what that's going to be doing is just running the various script functions at the bottom here. And we'll give this a second to load while everything is coming up. So what I'm going to do next is just jump to one of the pop-ups and show you how you're going to be kind of working with the various pop-ups that come up. So what you'll see is one of the figures is going to say scroll channel activities, EEG plot. This is the first plot that's going to come up. And to actually interact with this, you're going to go to settings, number of channels to display, and you're going to change that from 128 to 10. And you could see basically now we're only seeing 10 channels out of the 128 that were originally there, just based on the display. All 128 channels are available for us to look at, but we're only going to be seeing 10 as opposed to all of them in one window. We can actually scroll all the way up using the scroll bar, and if we want to move between the different channels, we could use this scroll bar to locate and navigate whatever channels we want to be working with. To actually adjust the range of the values of the different wavelengths, you can go to this box down here and type in the number that you want to be looking at. Early on, we're going to be looking at a range of 40, so that's the number that we want in. And then finally, if you want to look at the event types, you can click this pop-up and you'll notice that this actually matches one of the screenshots in your lab document. And to move across the various time series of the EEG plot, we can press this window down here, either the single or the multiple. So this is going to be moving in wavelengths of 5. So that's pretty much it for how you're going to be interacting with a lot of the pop-ups that come up today. Again, there's going to be different pop-ups based on the different functions that you're going to be running, and there's going to be questions associated with these pop-ups. But again, as long as you have it working on one person's computer, you should be able to complete this lab without any issues. And again, I will be around to answer any questions that you might have and to make sure that this lab goes smoothly for you. If you have any questions about MATLAB or any issues you might be running into ahead of time, please let me know and I'd be happy to troubleshoot.